Hey abundant parents, it's Leah. In this video, we're going to talk all about keeping your cool when your kids are losing their proverbial business. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a like. Also subscribe. I post a new video at least once a week, sometimes more, so also hit the bell. That way you'll be notified when I post. I often talk about the impact our emotions have on our kids through mirroring neurons. If you haven't caught one of my videos on this, we all have mirror neurons. That is, neurons that mimic the behavior of the neurons of others that we observe, and even more so, those we are more intimately connected to with our family units and our work environments. The example I most commonly use, because it's so easy to relate to, is this idea of athletes and spectators. When measured, they found that the neurons of the athletes were mimicked by those of the spectators exactly. What I haven't discussed is how mirror neurons can actually be flipped, and we can take on the energy from our kids. We can mimic their neurons. Since when our children are melting down or losing their proverbial business, they can be modeling grief, anger, frustration, sadness. Because we are human, we inadvertently, subconsciously, we model those same feelings that our children are having. This is instinctual, it's physiological. So while we can't change that that is happening, we can really tune into our awareness, into our conscious state. Knowing what you do now about our neurological mind and energy, you can really see how important it is to be a calm, grounded parent when we are being bombarded with the emotions of others, especially when we care so deeply about our children, and always remembering that we are the peace that our children seek. So how can we show up as the parent that our kids need and connect with best? Well, consciousness is king in this example. First, you want to check in and ask if this was your own doing. Did you model chaotic neurons to your children? Did you come home angry, frustrated, sad, tired? The first step is recognizing if you brought some of that energy home with you or into the room with you with your children, and to get yourself in check. This first step is key for all of my other tips and tools to work, and I will talk more about how you can do that in a little bit. Secondly, are you guiding your child? Are you attempting to control them unnecessarily? It can be really hard as a parent, especially when you've had a long day, to keep your ego out of parenting. It is really easy to get swept in this idea that your kids are pushing back against you, and so then you try to control more. But the more that you see your child as the individual that was born with their own ideas, with their own purpose, and you see pain and struggle as the opportunity to be redirected on your path or the opportunity to grow, you certainly wouldn't want to rob your child of those experiences, of those lessons. And I do need to say, this is absolutely not the same thing as allowing your child to hurt themselves or to hurt others. Remember, you have the tools to manage your feelings, and your children are counting on you to use those tools. It shows them that they can expect to be an adult who's a master of their emotions, and it gives them permission to have their own feelings, their own emotions, without you kind of usurping the feelings that they are having and taking all of the emotional space for yourself. How do you become or get into that place of being the emotional guru for yourself, but also for your kids? The absolute best way is through regular practice of mindfulness and awareness. Meditating every single day, whether it's a guided meditation or it's just a silent meditation, it really hones your emotional compass. It really helps you stay in check, and it always helps you to maintain a nice, peaceful vibration, so that during times of chaos, you know how to find that place quicker, because you go to that place every single day during your meditation. You go to that peaceful place. So when you're in the chaos, you know where to find it. Secondly is journaling. Journaling is an amazing tool for connecting with not only your manifestations of what you hope to draw into your life, which of course, if you follow my videos, you know I talk about, but also in helping unload your burdens. The mind hand connection when writing is really, really powerful. If you're going through hard times, if you have a lot of stress that you're going through, releasing those burdens onto the page can be incredibly releasing, incredibly healing, and transformative. And then, of course, self-care, 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 self-care. Yes, journaling and meditation can be considered self-care, but also things like making sure that you're feeding yourself food that fuels you so you're not feeling overwhelmed and tired when you're with your kids. It could be things like making sure that you're getting exercise so your body feels strong so you can lift your children, or not have a body that's in pain so you can't deal with them as peacefully as you would like to. This might even be getting massages or doing energy work, but self-care is so important, and it doesn't have to be expensive. Self-care could be having a little moment to have a tea in the afternoon and giving your kids the timer and saying, I'm going to drink my tea for 5 minutes uninterrupted. Like, sometimes it can seem like you're asking a lot, but when you begin to demand more for your own self-care, when you demand more of yourself and showing yourself self-respect, I use self a lot in that sentence. When you begin to do those practices, your kids begin to see not only that you're putting an emphasis and an importance on that for yourself, but that they can start to practice those things as they move forward into adulthood. But what happens if you haven't been doing self-care? You're dealing with a lot of angry children, your kid's always melting down, you're at your wit's end, you don't even know what to do. I read this in my mommy groups all the time. This is usually where a lot of my clients start with me, is they're just completely overwhelmed, they don't know what to do. There are definitely tools that you can use in a pinch to get you out of the muck when you've already gone there, you're already upset, your kids are already upset, and you just need as much as you can to swipe the emotional slate clean in that moment. My number one recommendation is a timeout. Nope. Not for your kids. In fact, I don't even give my kids timeout. But sometimes I need a timeout. My kids understand, because we've practiced this enough, that when I'm feeling tired or frustrated, or I'm feeling like I'm not bringing my best self forward, they understand that I will give them my cell phone with a timer, and I will give it a 5 minutes so that the timer becomes in charge. It's not me trying to control the situation, putting myself in charge at the time. I give them the phone, I give them the timer. They understand the timer is in charge in that moment. And that gives me the space to take a deep breath, to tap into my inner thoughts, my inner guidance, and to come to some real quick conclusions about what I need to move forward as the mom that they need most in that moment. Once I've taken that time out, there's 2 tools that are lifesavers for me. The quickest is breathing. It's amazing the power in taking one big full breath to completely fill your lungs. There's so much power in that. So you can imagine the more breaths you take, the more soothing, healing, peaceful feelings that you will get. So if you can, try to breathe for 1 minute at least. If you can only get 1 minute to yourself, take that time to breathe. You're going to take a deep breath in. You're going to hold it at the top of the breath. And you're going to release all the breath out, making sure when you take that breath in, you completely fill your lungs. So almost like you can feel everything stretching inside, holding it at the top for just a moment, and then releasing it all the way out. And repeating the pattern of that breath for a minute gives you so much clarity and space and peace. It is remarkably effective. The second tool, which has been a lifesaver for me, it works without fail so much that I became certified in it because it was so effective for me, and that is EFT tapping. Tapping is a technique where you are hitting very specific meridian points on your body and saying phrases where you acknowledge that you're feeling crummy, you give love to those crummy feelings, you acknowledge that you have the tools and the ability to move through those feelings, and then you acknowledge that you're already feeling a little bit better, all the while hitting your meridian points for the tapping. If you are not already familiar with tapping, then you can just look up your specific symptoms. There's tapping for everything. So you could put in tapping for anger, or tapping for anxiety, or tapping for depression, or tapping for pain. There's tapping for everything. Just throw it into YouTube, tapping or EFT tapping plus what you are experiencing, and you will find a slew of people that are bringing their desire to help others heal through teaching them EFT tapping. Of course, I offer EFT tapping sessions as well, but I highly doubt that you're going to pick up the phone and ask me to guide you through tapping in the middle of everybody's meltdown, which you're welcome to do. But in the meantime, lean into those videos that are available all over YouTube. I'm sure that there's others that are offered through other search engines, but that's very, very powerful. The TFT version of tapping is actually recognized by the American Medical Association, which is huge, right? And I believe that, I always get the numbers a little bit off, but it's either 93 or 97% of people find tapping helps them. It's a very, very large percentage. If it's working for that high of a percentage, the chances of it working for you are pretty darn good. Those are my tips and tools for addressing mindfulness when your kids are really melting down and you need to be in check yourself to manage them the best. There's actually a part 2 to this video. I taught the mindfulness side. Now I encourage you to go check out Marciela's video all about how to de-escalate your kids when they are super frustrated, angry, tired, whatever feelings they might be having in their moment. She has some really amazing tools for how to de-escalate that for your kids, to how to reach their brain and their developmental stage and to bring them back down to a calm, peaceful place. Just as important as it is for you to have the tools to manage your own feelings, your children also count on you to have tips and tools to help them manage their own feelings. So go check that out. I have put the link for the High Impact Club video in the description of this video. Please go check it out. If you'd like to hear more from me, I encourage you to go check out theabundantparent.com. On there, there's a tab that says membership. When you click that tab, you will get access to all of the experts in the field that I have every month bringing online live workshops to parents to help them be the best parent that they can be for their kids. Again, that's theabundantparent.com, clicking on the tab that says membership. Thank you so much for spending your limited, valuable parenting time with me. I'm wishing you a day full of light, love, and abundance.